Welcome to WNBA Trending. I'm Ava, and today we're diving into one of the biggest stories shaking the world of women's basketball, the growing tension inside the WNBA, and the claim that Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark is being used as a pawn in a much larger dispute. What started as a discussion about hard fouls and media attention has evolved into a league-wide conversation about favoritism, equality, and the pressure of sudden fame. And at the center of it all, a 22-year-old rookie from Iowa who just wanted to play basketball and make her team better. This isn't just another story about an athlete under the spotlight. This is about how one player's rise to superstardom has exposed deep cracks within a league fighting to define its future. Let's get into it. When Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA earlier this year, she wasn't just another top draft pick, she was a movement. From her record-breaking college career at Iowa to her sold-out rookie season with the Indiana Fever, Clark brought unprecedented attention to women's basketball. Ratings skyrocketed. Merchandise flew off the shelves. Fever home games turned into must-see events. But with that fame came friction. Many veteran players voiced frustration about what they saw as unequal treatment. Some said the league's marketing machine focused too heavily on Clark, overshadowing other stars who have worked for years to elevate the game. Others argued that Clark's presence was exactly what the league needed, a spark that finally brought mainstream audiences to the WNBA. The tension grew louder as the season went on. On the court, Clark took hard fouls and often no sympathy calls. Off the court, she became a target of endless debate, praised for her talent and poise by some, criticized by others for the attention she received. And then, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White stepped in, not to talk about basketball strategy, but to defend her player against what she called an unfair and damaging narrative. In a candid post-game interview, White said, "Caitlin's being used as a pawn. This isn't about her anymore. It's about people using her name to push their own agendas. She's out here trying to play basketball, and she's being dragged into battles she didn't ask to fight." Her words hit the league like a thunderclap. Suddenly, this wasn't just about Clark's treatment on the floor. It was about league politics, media narratives, and how the WNBA handles its stars. White continued, "She's doing everything right. She shows up, she works hard, she handles the criticism, and she still gets treated like she's the villain. That's not fair. She deserves respect for what she's done for this league." That statement was shared across every major sports outlet. Fans flooded social media to show support, calling White's defense the truth the WNBA needed to hear. Behind the scenes, insiders say White's words reflect a growing frustration inside the Fever organization. They see Clark taking hits, both physical and verbal, and feel the league hasn't done enough to protect its biggest young star. Several WNBA players, speaking anonymously, admitted the league's locker rooms have been tense this season. Some players reportedly feel overshadowed by the Clark phenomenon, while others see the backlash against her as misplaced jealousy. One veteran player put it bluntly, saying, "The problem isn't Caitlin Clark. The problem is how the league handles success. Every time someone becomes too big, it turns into drama instead of celebration." That's exactly the kind of environment Stephanie White seemed to be calling out, a league that can't decide whether to embrace or resist the very spotlight it's been chasing for years. Let's talk about that spotlight. The Caitlin Clark effect has been nothing short of historic. Television ratings have shattered records. Ticket prices have tripled in some cities. Fever games are drawing sellout crowds not just at home, but on the road. The WNBA has seen more national coverage this season than in the last decade combined. Clark's jersey is among the top-selling in all of basketball, men's or women's. And major brands have lined up to work with her, bringing millions of dollars in endorsements and partnerships. But with that visibility came criticism, some of it fair, some of it personal. On social media, fans and pundits clashed daily over whether Clark's treatment by other players was fueled by competitiveness or resentment. Some argued she needed to toughen up. Others said she was being unfairly targeted because of her popularity. And then there's the racial angle, a topic that has made the conversation even more sensitive. Some voices in the media accuse the league of marketing Clark differently because she fits a more mainstream-friendly profile. Others push back, saying Clark's success comes from her talent and work ethic, not her background. Whatever the reason, one thing's clear: Caitlin Clark has become the face of a league still learning how to handle fame, money, and cultural scrutiny all at once. Stephanie White's comments about Clark being a pawn echo a deeper truth, that she's not the one pulling the strings. In many ways, Clark represents a new generation of athletes who are expected to carry not only their teams but also the entire sport's future. Every foul, every facial expression, every social media post becomes a headline. And when that happens, it's easy for the person at the center to lose control of the narrative. White said Clark's name is being used by both sides, those who love her and those who don't, to make broader points about how the WNBA should operate. And that's what makes this situation so complicated. Clark isn't trying to divide anyone. She's trying to win games. But her popularity, whether she likes it or not, has become a battleground for the league's identity crisis. When asked about the controversy, Clark kept her response measured and professional, as always. She told reporters, "I appreciate Coach White standing up for me, but I'm just here to play. My focus is on helping my team get better every day. That's all that matters." Her calmness under pressure has become one of her defining traits. Despite the constant noise around her, she never lashes out, never blames others, never loses focus. That's rare for any rookie, especially one living under such intense scrutiny. Teammate Aaliyah Boston also spoke about the situation, saying, "Caitlin handles everything with so much grace. She just wants to hoop. We've all got her back." The Fever have quietly built strong chemistry, rallying around Clark as both a teammate and a person. The players know what she's going through: the constant cameras, the double teams, the endless questions, and they respect her for handling it all with maturity. Meanwhile, across the league, players and coaches have started weighing in. Some agree with White's assessment, saying Clark's treatment has been unfair and, at times, even dangerous. Others argue that Clark's fame comes with a target and that she needs to accept that as part of being the face of the WNBA. Analysts have compared this to the early years of NBA superstardom, when players like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were thrust into national attention, facing not only opponents on the court but also social and cultural debates off it. Clark may be in a similar position, a young athlete carrying the hopes, fears, and future of an entire sport. And it's not just about basketball anymore. Her story has become a lens through which we see the evolving power of women's sports, the good, the bad, and the very complicated. Stephanie White's decision to publicly back Clark could mark a turning point. Coaches rarely step into league-wide controversies, but White's message was clear: protecting players, especially young ones, must come before politics. Her remarks have forced the WNBA to confront hard questions. How do you support your stars without alienating others? How do you celebrate growth without resentment? And most importantly, how do you protect the players who bring that growth in the first place? As one sports analyst put it, the WNBA has been waiting for its breakout star for years. Now that they have one, they need to figure out how to handle it. The league's leadership has yet to issue an official comment on White's remarks, but sources say executives are watching closely. The WNBA is experiencing unprecedented attention, but it's also walking a fine line, trying to balance fairness, equality, and entertainment in an era where everything is magnified by social media. As the Fever fight for a playoff spot, all eyes remain on Caitlin Clark, not just for what she does with the ball, but for how she carries herself through the chaos. Every game she plays feels like more than a game. Every shot she makes feels symbolic, a statement that women's basketball belongs on the main stage. And yet, as Stephanie White reminded everyone, Clark didn't ask to be a symbol. She just wants to play. In the end, whether or not Caitlin Clark is truly being used as a pawn depends on who you ask. But there's no denying the impact she's had. She's elevated the sport, challenged the system, and sparked conversations that were long overdue. If she's a pawn, she's one that's already changing the entire board. As Stephanie White said in closing, Caitlin isn't the problem, she's the progress. The league just has to catch up. And that's the story for today. This has been Ava with WNBA Trending.